Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Man Takes Shoes Out of Box, the episode where I take some shoes out of a box and I tell you guys what I think of them. Today, we're going to be talking about these, the Air Force One Low Linens. This is part of Nike's Cult Classics program, and to be honest, I wasn't actually even going to do a review on these, but after taking them out the box, after putting them on feet, and after thinking about the significance of this sneaker in a historical sneaker context, I thought, man, we got to chat about these. These dropped a couple of weeks ago here in the UK and they sold out on the Nike Sneakers app, and most retailers sold out of them really quick, but it seems like in recent times they've either had some kind of a restock or stocks have been replenished for most retailers, because a lot of sizes of these are currently sat in a number of different retailers here in the UK. And so if you wanted to come up on a pair of these are sat in places like Foot Patrol and Size and a few others as well. This particular shoe released in 2001, but it also released again in 2016 as a Kith exclusive for the opening of their Miami store. Prices on the 2016 Kiths have been pretty crazy over the years, but suffice to say, after these have dropped, prices are now very low. These are sitting and you can pick up a pretty significant piece of sneaker history at retail right now. In fact, these may even go on sale, who knows? So the box is pretty average really, nothing spectacular going on with the box. It's the regular black Nike sportswear box with the Nike Air Force One on the top. This is different actually to the box that came out with the 2001 pair, which was the brown box with the orange accents. The shoes themselves are really nice, man. Like, this colorway is just something that you can't go wrong with. It's predominantly sporting this linen or this tan or this very light brown color motif on the upper. You've got some pink accents in the form of the swoosh as well as the branding on the tongue. You've also got this little mini swoosh on the front of the shoe as well, and then you've also got a bit of pink action on the outsole. The linen also features on the insole with some pink Nike branding, and basically the whole sneaker is tied together with these touches of white, which feature on the liner as well as on the midsole and with the laces that come installed. In terms of the materials, one of the features of this particular collab from its 2001 release was the fact that it came with a slightly more elevated or premium touch compared to regular inline Air Force Ones, and it seems like these have stayed true to that idea. The leather is really nice to the touch, it's really soft. It's almost like they've used a number of different leathers actually in the construction. Going around the heel tab of the shoe, where you've also got some Nike branding, the leather is quite smooth. And then as you trace yourself around to the mid panels, the leather is a little bit more tumbled, or it's a little bit more textured. And then wrapping around to the front, it kind of smooths out again. But it definitely does have a premium feel to it, that's for sure. You've also got a leather tongue, which is a nice touch as well, and is also something that is true to the original. And also the padding around the ankle collar is pretty nice and soft and cushioned. And the shape, from what I can see, is pretty consistent with the OG and is pretty nice, to be honest. Like, the shape is dope. In terms of the quality control on my pair, generally speaking, the quality control is really good. There's nothing massively flagrant that stands out. I did think that maybe this was a return pair because there is a little bit of a scuff on the R of the Air on the midsole, but generally speaking, the QC on this pair is pretty good. In terms of the sizing, these actually came up a little bit big. I got a true to size 9.5 UK, which is the type of size I normally wear, Jordan 1s, SBs and stuff, and these actually fit quite big. So I'd recommend going true to size, or even maybe a half size down. But the best thing to do would be to go in store and try a pair on if you can for yourselves. But yeah, I actually found these to fit quite big. And in terms of the comfort, bro, really nice comfort. I really enjoyed having these on foot. Air Force Ones are obviously a little bit chunkier, they're a little bit clunkier. I only have a few other pairs of Air Force Ones, but these felt really good on foot. And as you can see, I think they look really nice as well. This colorway is just fire. You can't go wrong. So these shoes first came out back in 2001 as part of the Co.jp release. If you guys know your sneaker history, you'll know that in the early 2000s and even the late 90s, Nike was starting to pop off internationally. They were starting to get a foothold in different markets around the world. And one of the markets that they were very popular in was Japan. And so what they did was they set up this Co.jp program and produced a number of exclusive Japan colorways on certain models like the Air Force One or the Nike Dunks. As part of Nike's recent Cult Classics program, they have revived some of these shoes from back in the day, including shoes like the Ultraman Dunks or the Plums, as well as the Veneers, which were part of the Ugly Duckling pack. And there are, of course, a whole bunch of really coveted, really collectible Co.jp releases that have released from Nike over the years. One of the main reasons why these types of sneakers are really nostalgic, particularly for a lot of older sneakerheads, is they represent a time in sneaker culture where the game was a lot different. You see, back in the 2000s, you didn't really have the online trading platforms that we have today. The world wasn't quite as globalized, and so if you wanted to stand out in your area, your ends, or your hood, what you needed to do to have something different to what everyone else had is you had to travel internationally to pick up these regional exclusive sneakers and then bring them back to your neighborhood and then show them off. It's just a different time back then, and people moved in different ways in order to stand out, and shoes like these really bring back that sentimentality. Now, it does bring up an interesting point of contention though. And the contention is this: are Nike diluting their history? Are they killing off their brand image by resuscitating these types of models, by bringing back these old retros and going into the vault and bringing us back stuff that we didn't even know we really wanted? From a purist, sneaker collector, maybe even reseller or hypebeast point of view, I can totally understand reservations that people have where they don't want to see these limited sneakers come back onto the market because they don't want to see the value of their sneakers decrease, or they don't want the rarity of their sneakers that they're already in possession of go down. And whilst I totally get those arguments, I do think it is being a little bit too precious. I think shoes like these should come back. I feel like people having access to these shoes in a retro capacity is a good thing. At the end of the day, it's really not that deep. These are just sneakers. And with releases like this, it gives rise to the retelling of these stories around the early 2000s nostalgia and what sneaker culture used to be like back then. The only risk that Nike run is completely overdoing it and bringing back a whole bunch of these retros in place of giving us some new stuff or giving us some new stories that can create some history for tomorrow. And so all in all, I think this is such a dope release. It's a GR of a classic limited edition sneaker. It's got to be right up there as one of the best Air Force One colorways of all time. Incredibly wearable, good quality, they're available, and they have a really awesome, rich history. So this is, I would venture to say, one of my favorite GR releases of the entire year so far, and tip of the cap to Nike for bringing back a cult classic. What do you guys think? Have you guys picked up a pair of the Air Force One low linens yet? Are you feeling them? Are you copping them? Let me know down below in the comments. And as always, guys, I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch the video, and I'll see you tomorrow for our weekly sneaker news video. Have a good rest of your day. See you on the next one. Take care for now. Peace.